Welcome to my podcast, You Are More. I'm your host, Amy, and I'm extremely excited to be here today. I'm going to talk to you some like kind of practical and tactical. So often I'm telling people, you are more, you can do more, you can create more, you have the ability to do all these great things. And they kind of look at me sometimes like, okay, they know it. There's a deep on the inside, like, yeah, I do know that. I just don't know what that is. And so I want to talk to you about the practical and the tactical. And the practical and the tactical on this meaning, um, you can have anything you want in life as long as you can see it. So what the mind can conceive and believe, it can achieve. Right? That's an old. I think that's an old Earl Nightingale thing. What the mind can conceive and believe, you can achieve. And so we're going to take that step by step because I've used this in my real estate career. I've used it in so many different ways. Right? And I think that if you're a listener of this podcast, you're bent this direction anyway. And I think when you realize that you're a part of something instead of a part of something, right? Apart from something, you're a part of instead of apart from something, you'll start to go, oh, I connect with the whole, right? And so, not to sound confusing, but so when we're talking about um, really honing in on the desires of your heart, what I most of the time find when I'm asking somebody from a perspective of many things, like, what do you want in your life? Here's the biggest issue. Most people are so vague. They're so vague with what they want in their life. They're not clear cut on anything. Yeah, they'd like a family. A family would be good. And yeah, a nice car would be good. And a nice house would be good. And I don't know, a career that I enjoy, that would be good. And they're just extremely vague. And here's what vague gets you. Want want. Vague gets you vague, right? Vague gets you vague. So what do you want in life? So when I'm looking at that, and I've wrestled with this because I've been 30 years in this industry and I've been very crystal clear on what I wanted. And then I'm like branching out into other lanes that complement what I'm already doing. And my clarity factor started to go away. It started to kind of get blurry. And here's what I found. That's a frustrating place because when you want to see things happen, but you can't get clarity on it. You just wrestle back and forth with yourself, or you have all these thoughts that go through your head, but you can't get any real direction. Um, Literally, that is that's a moment because you're not going to produce anything. So I'm a big person that I say it all the time to my team. Um, you are what you think. Your life looks like how you think. If you don't like your life, change your thoughts. And as much as I would say you are what you think, and if you don't like your life, change your thoughts. When you start to take that level of personal responsibility that I am a creator with my thoughts. Everything you have is coming towards you and through you because of what you're thinking, right? And so you're a magnet. You have to think of yourself like you've got like this big old magnet. It's just like, remember those big like horseshoe magnets? Like you're literally put that on top of your head, like visually, like just close your eyes and think about like if I had a magnet on top of my head, what are these thoughts of mine magnetizing? What are they calling forth? Are you calling forth poverty, lack, less than, not enough? Or are you calling forth abundance? People are great. I love people. Everything good's coming to my life. Every day in every way, I'm getting better and better. Like, what kind of thought are you putting out there? Because whatever it is, it's magnetizing to your life that very thing. And when you take that kind of responsibility for yourself, that you got to dominate your thought life. You got to own that thought life. And it's the greatest battle in the world. The greatest battle is between the 6 inches between your ears. That is the true battlefield because literally, as you think, so you are. As you think, so you are. So I want to take this a step further and say, okay, so you want this and you want that. Let's clearly define this. So I'm just going to show you success principles that I've used. Okay. So when I've had a desire, like I wanted to see my signs everywhere, right? I want to see my listings everywhere. And I wanted to dominate a certain market. I wanted my company to look like a certain thing. I wanted my office space to look like a certain way. I literally started to put that down on paper. I put it down on paper and I literally started to think about it every morning. I think it's so critical. What does your morning start out like? And I don't want to get side railed with your morning routine, but literally in the morning, my very first step in the morning is this. I acknowledge the fact that I have breath in my body and I thank God that I woke up this morning. Like that's my base gratitude. I have breath in my body and I woke up. Thank you, God. All good things start from there, right? So if you can't say anything but the fact that you woke up, well, say that, right? That's my base start out every day. I say, thank God I woke up. I got breath in my body. I'm on this earth. That means your mercies are new every morning for me. That means I've got good things to do today. But literally, then I spend time in visualization. And you're going to go, okay, Amy, this is getting a little woo woo. No, where do you want to go? Because it has to become so crystal clear to you that you start to see yourself in that. You see yourself listing that high-end home. You see yourself in that in that new house. You see yourself in that new car. What kind of car? Not just any car. Maybe you want it to be, I don't know, let's just go for basics. Let's say you want it to be like a red Cadillac. Maybe you want it to be, some sports car, some Mercedes, something, right? Whatever it is, it has to be clearly defined. It can't just be I want a nice car. Because what is a nice car is want want. Okay. All right. And you don't know if you're magnetizing or not. Be so specific because you can have everything you want in life if you just get clarity and you're specific about it. So some of you, when I said, okay, do you want a new car? Do you want a new sports car? Do you want a new and sometimes when you're younger, I think that material things have more of a hold on you. And then when you're older, you start to think, man, I'd like to take a trip with my family. That'd be an amazing experience for all of us for a week. So there's different things, guys. The metrics change in life, on what you put value on. But nevertheless, clarity remains the key factor in whether you'll ever see it come to fruition in your life. Clarity. So I say that to say this: you have to become crystal clear on what it is that you want to see in your life. And then you have to begin to focus and visualize it. When you see it and you're visualizing it and you see it and you can actually think, okay, I see myself doing that. I see it. Oh, what does it feel like? And you start to you start to connect an emotional attachment to it. Guys, that's where the real power kicks in. You're visualizing it, you're experiencing it like, oh, it's going to feel like this when this happens. Oh, when I sell that, you know, big house is going to feel like this. That's going to feel good. I'm going to be able to take my kids and do this. Or when I finish that marathon, I complete my master's degree, I get that new job, I get married, whatever that hey is that you have to visualize yourself in. Like, what does it feel like when you actually have that accomplishment? Because you can tie an emotional attachment to it. All things are possible. So once you write it down, spend time just thinking about it. Yes. I see it. I see it. Because the more you see it, the more you start to act like it. That's the most crazy part about our brain, guys. When you're in that, you're visualizing it and you're just closing your eyes and you're just seeing it and you're experiencing it with your emotions. Do you know your brain does not know that this is not real? It thinks that you're doing that. You're tricking your brain, which is so cool. So that when you actually get up there to do whatever you're going to do, you're going to start to walk in it because you're focused on it. You're becoming it, right? So you get into the visualization part. And then here's the part that I think that we miss a lot on is just the acceptance part. So I might write down that I want this, this, and this. So um, let's say I wanted a specific vehicle and I wanted to be really crystal clear on it that I wanted to, let's say I wanted a G-Wagon, right? I'll be really crystal clear on it. I wanted a white G-Wagon, red wheels, cream color interior, all the things, right? And I start to go and this kind of wheelbase and get really specific on it. Um, and then I'd stamp it I'd write right over it, thank you. Thank you. I'm accepting it. Here's what I've discovered about myself. I'm a great gift giver. I love to give gifts. I love to be generous. I'm like, that's like a massive love language for me, right? But the reality of it am I a good gift receiver? And I can tell you that I'm actually not. And I started to look at that. And the root of that is like an unworthiness on some part. And then on other parts, I'm like, oh, you don't really need to do that for me. I can take care of that or whatever. Like you start to, ultimately, it's a pride and an unworthiness. And so when you don't accept gifts like that, you're blocking the flow in your life. And so I would say that to you, even about your goals. Write down your goals, write down We were just out of my kids' leadership day, and they've got wigs. They're called wildly um, something. What is it? Now I'm. What is it? Wildly outrageous? No, that's WOG. I don't know. Anyway, you get what I'm saying. Wildly outrageous goals, right? And they put them out there, and they're like, okay, so write those out there. What are my wildly outrageous goals that I want to see happen in my life? And then I want to clearly define those goals. I want to define what it's going to look like. When I was building this office, I'm like, okay, I had a vision in my head. And when we got done, it came back and I'm like, well, the price point was off significantly because of how I saw it in my head. And they said, well, that's easy. We can take off that second story and that knocks it down to about where you wanted to be. But it didn't line up with my vision. Huh. Well, I'm at a crossroads. So finally, I looked at it and I'm like, well, I wouldn't even want the building if it didn't look the way it looked. Like, I don't even want to do that. I had a specific thing in mind. And I was like, I'm not even going to settle for less than it being that, or I won't do it. But it was concrete. And so here's the thing. We moved forward with it and did it because I saw what I saw. I wasn't willing to settle and we just moved forward with it. Right. And it's been such a blessing to me. But literally think about that in your life. Sometimes we start out in life and we've got, 10 big goals that we want to see achieved in our life. And maybe we hit two of them and then the rest we flounder. And the reason that we do is because we don't have clarity. We don't, there's such a gift in clarity, right? I was talking to a real estate coach of mine a couple weeks ago. And he looked at me and he said, Amy, check your energy. And I'm like, what do you mean? He goes, check your energy. If you're not liking your results, check your energy. And I would say that to you. If you're not liking your results, check your energy. If you don't like what you're seeing in your life, check your energy. And I said, but what do you mean by that? He goes, where do you have clarity and where do you not? Are you crystal clear on your mission? Are you crystal clear on what you're on this earth to do? Do you have clarity? And he asked me a question that literally rocked me to the core. And I had to say to him, oh my gosh, that was like the most clarifying question I'd ever been asked. And when you get clarity, like things start to move. When you get clarity, everything starts to open up. When I've gotten clarity, because over that 2-week time frame, I've literally analyzed, I've written, I've got notebooks full of things. Like I'm getting very clear. I'm getting crystal clear on my mission, on my intent. And guess what's starting to happen? Where I've been beating my head against the wall looking for, I need this kind of talent, I need that kind of talent, I need this opportunity, I need that opportunity, and where I was struggling to find that, it's like I'm under an open heaven and those opportunities are coming forth because guess what? I'm crystal clear on what I'm going to do and I'm crystal clear on my mission and my purpose. But when I was in vagueness, I kind of want to do that and yeah, that would be great if that would happen and that would be nice and yeah, if something like that can happen, yeah, that would work. Man, no one in my family does anything like that, or that's never been anything that we've ever been able to do. Or if I'm just not crystal clear, right? If I'm not crystal clear, then the energy I'm sending out is one of vagueness. The energy I'm sending out is one of, I don't really know exactly what I want. Hey, who wants to join that? Right? Who wants to join that? I don't know exactly what I'm doing. Like, who wants to join that? But when you have clarity, that's when the magic starts to happen. When you have clarity, you'll take a calculated risk because you understand the mission and the purpose, and it's worth it to you because you're crystal clear on where you're going. And when you have that, that is a force that's completely unstoppable. It's just unstoppable. So I would challenge you today, if you're looking at your life, and I'd say to you, it's December of 2023. What needs to happen between now and December of 2023? So basically about 8 months. What needs to happen in the next 8 months for me to say, man, it's been an extraordinary year? What does that look like? When I ask you that question, I challenge you to get a pencil out, get a notebook out, and just start to go old fashioned. Write it out. What are your wildly outrageous goals that you would like to see? What are those things that you want to see happen in your life by the end of the year? And then I'm going to challenge you to do this. Write thank you across the top of them. look at them and put it away. Because I'm going to call that seed. I'm going to call those thoughts and those written things that you just put down seed. And I'm going to compare it to a farmer. A farmer doesn't go out and dig up a seed every day looking to see what it's going to produce, does he? He or she. They don't go, they plant the seed and they don't keep going out there. Well, and here's the other thing. They don't go out there and plant corn and get beans. So, what kind of seed are you planting? Again, we're going back to those thoughts. My thoughts are things, my thoughts are magnets. What am I drawing to my life? What am I attracting to my life? I'm a walking magnet, right? And then you go back to crystal clarity. Like, okay, thank you. Just thank you. It's an acceptance, okay? So when you write it down, I'm giving you like key instruction. Write it down, write thank you over the top of it. Put it in a drawer. Don't go dig it back up every day. That's opposite of what a lot of people would tell you to do. They'd say focus on it every day, look at it every day. No, accept it. Accept that it's coming forth. Literally, go put it away. And then do this. Every morning, take 5 minutes, guys. Who doesn't have 5 minutes? Take 5 minutes to literally walk through each process of that. If you're focused on a vehicle, what kind of vehicle? What does it look like? What does it feel like? Be so specific. If it's a relationship, if it's a new career opportunity, if it's just a dream you had to take your family on a trip, whatever your moment is, whatever your clarity moment is of what you want in life. When you think about it, spend 5 minutes at night and 5 minutes in the morning just thinking about it, seeing yourself there. Because this is what I know. Again, our brain is so creative and it's so incredible. But literally, it's going to open up and it's going to start to manifest all those things that you've been thinking about. Guys, like it's a law. It's either going to work for you or against you. So whether you believe in it or don't believe in it, it doesn't matter. It's working for you or against you. It's just like gravity. The power of your thoughts, the power of your ability to write it down, to accept it, to focus on it. Those thoughts are creating your life. They're literally creating your life, guys. And when you can see that those words, you'll start to reframe everything. You won't let careless words come out of your mouth. You won't let like sloppy kind of things come out of your mouth. And believe me, we've all been through seasons where you're like, oh man, I've had so much pressure. I just got to just spew all this stuff out. We've all been there. But if you do that, do it for a second, get up off of that thing and go back to your focus, right? Your discipline. I think it's so interesting. I was listening to, I'm a big Earl Nightingale fan, and I was listening to something. He said, you know what? We're so quick to be able to describe everything awful. So if someone says to you, how are you feeling today? And you say, oh, I'm good. And you don't describe good, but if someone says to you, "Man, how are you feeling?" You're like, "Man, I've had this pain in my stomach and it's been awful and I got a bad headache and I haven't been able to get out of bed and all this stuff." And you go into utter detail about all you're wrong, all the things that aren't working for you, right? All the things you're not feeling good about. You go into that. But here's the thing, guys, that is only drawing more of that to you. When you just continue to spend your time in focusing on the bad, which is what we're naturally drawn to because this world is negative. We're naturally going to be drawn to, and that the gravitational pull of negativity is a force. And it's one you have to recognize and really hold the line on because it's always going to be trying to pull you back. But when you understand my power of my words have life and death in them, then you're gonna check yourself before you start to say something because you know that whatever you're thinking on, you're magnetizing. And guys, it's a real discipline when you're walking through challenge to just say all is well. It is such a discipline. It's so difficult when you're walking through the fire, when you're walking through challenge to just say all is well. When you're walking through and you haven't seen your goals and you haven't possessed them yet, keep your mouth going in the same way that you want to go and just stay so focused. So I promise you guys, if you'll spend your time, if you'd spend the next 30 days, if you just sit down tomorrow, jot down where do you want to go? Just get clarity. The more you write, the clearer you get. I think the more you write, you start to, if you're in business and you want to hire some people, what does your perfect avatar look like? Who is that person? What does that person need from a company? How do I meet the need of that? Like all these things, right? You start to analyze it. What does this, maybe you're the pastor of a church. What kind of, and I want more people to come. Where are people at? Who are our demographics that we really meet the needs of? How do we attract? Like there's all these things. Who is our perfect avatar? And then start to create the need, start to create the plan to meet the need. Guys, there's all these things that we can do. But when you get that clear path where you know what you're doing and you know where you're going, I'm telling you, it honestly opportunity starts to open to you. Life starts to look different. And if you will focus for the next 30 days, and I hope you'll send me some notes on it. I hope you'll get with me, message me, let me know that you're practicing it and that you're seeing results. But when you get strong clarity, I'm talking strong clarity, and your mission is set and you're not willy-nilly on any of it. You know exactly what you want. You can describe it to a T. You know what it's going to feel like when you're there. You've got all that. You'll be amazed. You're going to see opportunity like no other open up before you. So I'm encouraging you today, write it down, accept it. Thank you. Visualize it, think on it, experience what it's going to feel like. And then write to me, text me, let me know, message me when you start to see all the things that you're desiring start to unfold. I sent a coach today. I said, hey, I just had these 3 things happen today. And he's like, Amy, that's awesome. But here's the thing he knows, it's because I've gotten clarity. I've gotten clarity. And when you get clarity, your energy level shifts and everything shifts. So be clarified on what it is you're wanting, because I promise you truly are more. Write the desire down and write it with crystal clarity. Crystal clarity. Write it with crystal clarity. I promise you. You'll be excited what you see manifest in your life. As always, hop onto our podcast, share it with somebody, like it, give it a 5-star review. If you have any benefit from it all, reach out to me. I'd love to hear from you. Be blessed.